Okay, here we go. Whatever the circumstance, I should not have written you. And God, you still can't work. And not just once, but 5 times. That number keeps creeping up, doesn't it? Please, you must just take all the means of me. Do it. Don't even think about it. No, I don't even know how. Seriously, I can think of a solid voice for soon. Very wise, Miss Naruhodo. It isn't a skill one acquires without considerable training. Oh, Mr. Sholmes. I observed your varying techniques several times with great interest. I confess I was most impressed. When did you see that? I presume that would be a form of Japanese wrestling. Oh, well, in a way, it's not wrestling, but my own interpretation of an ancient jujutsu technique. Apparently it's called the Susato takedown. It's your head swim, believe me. How begreeling. I am a practitioner of the combative art. Myself, I am a somewhat accomplished boxer. There he goes, dancing around again. I wonder if you'd be so kind as to instruct me on the technique of your wrestling throw. Yes, I'd be honored. Then let us not dally. Demonstrate, my dear madam. Oh, of course. Are you ready, Mr. Naruhodo? Huh? As you can see, you vote from the outcome. Oh, yes, wrestling indeed, and that is what you term the Susato takedown, is it? Actually, no, that's a Susato squash. In my groggy state of consciousness, scene from an evening recently spent with Cosmo flickered in my own mind. Karma? That's right, it's a prize sword that's been passed down through generations in the Soviet clan. How maybe you managed to get permission to bring it with you? I mean, taking a katana in a state, but more than just irregular, surely. A Japanese man's sword is his soul, Ryunosuke. I can't be parted from my katana. Karma guides me. I truly believe that. So its name compels its will to slice even in two. Not that you would need much compelling. On that subject, there's something very important that I have to do in Great Britain. And I'll sacrifice anything to make it happen. I appreciate you seeing it through with me. Of course I will. Whatever it is, I'll see it through to the end with you. I knew you wouldn't let me down. The important thing you had to do. I still don't know what that was. But I'm going to see the place for myself and work it out. In Great Britain's capital, London. Oh god, I'm gonna have to creak my neck. So while Nick had assistant who could channel spirits, Ryunosuke had one which could cause concussion.
Glancing over my records of the late last century, I am faced by the events of a certain bitter winter.
Amazing. Is this really just a railway station? Railway station or not, I've never seen such an enormous building before.
And look at all the steam locomotives. This country is incredible.
I feel like I'm dreaming.
So this is the capital of Great Britain.
So, where to?
Oh, hello.
Climb aboard. I'll take you wherever you want to go.
In that case, the Supreme Court in Whitehall, if you wouldn't mind.
My pleasure. I suppose you're visiting students from abroad, eh?
Yes.
Thought so. Well then, I hope you enjoy your stay. And welcome to the centre of the world, Great Britain's mighty capital, London.
Hello, Gav. What an incredible place. It's so imposing. It's almost suffocating. This place is breathtaking. It looks like a fortress. There are some stone buildings like this in Japan now, of course. But they've only been built in a few short decades since we opened the border to the outside. Yeah. Or Cosmic Hunt. No. So instead we are here in a different capacity. There's one point to report the news of Cosmos Star's death. Yes. I haven't delivered his or her message and Envoy's duty is done. So we'd have to return to Japan. I want to remain here in Great Britain. I have to take Cosmo's place as law student selected for the study tour. Yes, which means you quit. Yeah. This is what I've been studying for. Ah, good morning. Sorry for keeping you. Oh, I trust you aren't too exhausted after your long voyage from Japan. It seems I'm 1 hour, 12 minutes and 47 seconds late. My apologies. Oh, no, don't mention it. We're never happy when we're standing around with nothing much to do. How fortunate. So, introductions. I am Mael Strongheart, Lord Chief Justice of the British Empire. And I feel like a little mouse under an elephant's foot. Funny enough, Inosuke does translate to mouse. Come on, Miss Naruhodo, don't be a mouse. Oh, it's an honor to meet you, Lord Chief Justice Strongheart. I'm Inosuke Naruhodo from the Empire of Japan. Well, Miss Naruhodo. Welcome to London, the capital of our glorious British Empire. Ah, yes, thank you. Hold on. Oh, Strongheart, may I show you this? To accept this item, issue a receipt, examine it thoroughly, and make a formal statement of my findings. Would require something in the region of 24 seconds of my time. Sorry? Does the item warrant 24 seconds of my time, Mr. Naruhodo? Let's leave it for now. So, what are your impressions of our capital so far? How do you like London? Oh, help! I've been so nervous ever since I got here that I can't remember a single thing about the city. It's simply splendid, isn't it, Miss Naruhodo? Oh. I had a wonderful view of some of London's streets from the carriage on the way here from the station. Yeah. I'm glad to really like it. The city boasts tramways, piped water and gas, even cables supplying electricity. We spearhead every revolutionary new technology in the world. Every visitor to London is astounded. Oh yes, astounded is the word. Thanks for saving me there, Susato-san. Everyone seems so jolly and full of vigour. Vigour. Gotta give them. Yes. There's much excitement about the upcoming great exhibition we'll be hosting here in London. Great exhibition? Achievements from around the globe are to be exhibited here in our great city. It will be the greatest spectacle of its kind in history, and will make Paris's World Fair look like a toy shop. I can hardly imagine how magnificent it's going to be. Great Britain's capital city is nothing but magnificent. Huh? London is the centre of the modern world. Even if you do say so yourself. The sun will never set on a great empire. Perhaps it is fate that in these progressive times we welcome visitors from the land of the rising sun. God, that's the same voice I gave him last time. Converse, law student. Lord Chief Justice? I think you're expecting a student of law for the study tour, weren't you? Absolutely. Mr. Kazuma Sogi, if my memory serves. That's right. The British government has already been telegraphed a full report on the situation. I understand the young man lost his life aboard the steamship Born Forced Patrols. That's amazing. News reached him before we even arrived. My country naturally extends its deepest condolences to yours. Oh, thank you. And you honoured this appointment specifically to inform me of news? Yes. We are here in the capacity of envoys from Japan to report the sad news in person. They tell me Japanese are people of protocol and courtesy. I see that it's true. And it is with some regret that I must inform you that the death of the young lawyer means the study tour arrangement can no longer proceed. You just hear us out, Lord Strongheart. What do you have to say, madam? It's about the study tour. There's no Naruhodo here would like to make... Would he now? Well, Mr. Naruhodo, this is it then. The moment of truth. The thing is, Lord Justice, Lord Strongheart, I was wondering if perhaps you would consider allowing the study tour to go ahead. Don't misunderstand me. Britain would ideally like to see the tour go ahead. But without a lawyer from your country, there's nothing to be done. In that case, what if there was someone else? Another lawyer from Japan, I mean. Is there something I don't know? Only a single lawyer was invited to Great Britain from your country, and that was Mr. Asogi. At least, that's what I've been led to understand. Well, the thing is, this isn't going well at all. I just can't seem to find the right words to say to this man. Mr. Naruhodo, I could ruin things here if I'm not careful. What am I going to say? There's someone else here from Japan who could be described as a lawyer. It's... me! It's me. I can do it. Is that so? I mean, I don't actually have any qualifications as such, but... No qualifications, you say? And yet you still claim to be a lawyer? I have acted as a lawyer in court before. Only once, as it happens. I had Kazuma tell me that, and I was the accused. Let's not know the details. I've been spending every spare moment on the journey here to Great Britain studying. I've learned all about British law and court proceedings while I was on board the SS Boria. The voyage from Japan is some 50 days, I think. Not what you might call a full education. To become a qualified lawyer here in Britain, not only do you need a university degree in law, you must also complete several years of training. I realize it's far too short a period of time, but I can't just go back to Japan. Kazuma, Mr. Sogi's journey had only just begun. Coming on this study tour was all he thought about. I have to carry on and do everything you do. I know it must sound like I have an overly inflated opinion of myself. I would do anything to prove that I have what it takes, any test you care to set me. Just one chance, that's all I'm asking for. Please. 31 seconds. Sorry? Your opening statement there, Mr. Naruhodo, it was 31 seconds long. Not too brief, not too protracted. A perfectly judged appeal, I would say. Which is a skill that would stand you in good stead as a lawyer. Oh, thanks. So, you're willing to put those words to trial, are you? Well, I'm all for entertainment. Huh? But let me ask you one thing first, sir. Yes? You say you intend to do everything Mr. Sogi planned to do. Are you firmly set on that path? Well, yes. That's my... God, my voice for this man's constantly changing as well. Don't want to go as deep as I was last time. I want to make him sound more smug, but... I see. Am I imagining things? Or did this expression just alter faction all of a sudden? Very well. You have your wish. I'll give you a chance. A test to become a specially certified lawyer. Whether you pass or fail is entirely down to you. Really? So, what form of the test take exactly? Tell me, Mr. Naruhodo, what do you consider the role of a lawyer to be? Well, defending people, of course. Well said. So, let's have you defend someone. Huh? Your timing is perfect, in fact. There's an apt trial about to begin later today. No advocate has been appointed for the defense as yet, so this will be welcome news. Today? Straight away? If you manage to secure a verdict of not guilty, you will have passed my test. What could be simpler? Oh wait, that was Songha. How do I get myself into these situations? Well, can I ask, what sort of trial is it? What song? Yes, good question. Ah, I remember. It's a murder trial. A murder? An extremely simple case, I understand. You really can't lose. That's easy to say. But I should mention, just in case, if the defendant is found guilty, he will, of course, be sentenced to capital punishment. Capital punishment? He'll be put to death? Here in Great Britain, murderers are sent... I can't really do a good accent because I'm not from London. Murderers are sent to the gallows without exception. Presumably, you had not much in your short sea-based introduction to British law. We can't possibly agree to such a test. We would be toying with a man's life. I'm Lord Chief Justice, and I've decided it's acceptable. But you can't do that, can you? There's no need to overcomplicate this. All you have to do is ensure that you don't lose. So the defendant may live or die, depending on how well I perform in court. Hey, Gav! If I lose, he'll be hanged. Mr. Naruhodo, you've come to me claiming to be a lawyer. If you want me to take you seriously, you need to prove you're willing to do a lawyer's job. And you say you intend to see through the will of your compatriot, Mr. Sogi? I would like to understand just how far you're willing to go in order to make that happen. This is why I tried to differentiate Holmes' voice in this one. What's the matter? You've fallen silent. I'm sorry, but time is pressing. The trial begins shortly. I need an answer from you now. What's it to be? What do I say? Do I agree to this absurd test? Alright then, if I have to give you a decision now, my answer is... Can't do it, I can't get the words out. 50. To be a lawyer? That was too slow. So, it's as I suspected, is it? Sorry? You have noble intentions, but lack the resolve to see them through. The test is cancelled. Thank you for stopping by. Go and acquire your ticket for passage back to the East Hall. This conversation is over. No, I'm sorry, Mr. Sato. What could I do? So I understand. You do? It's not an easy decision to choose whether to defend a man in these circumstances. The resolve has absolutely nothing to do with it. What are you trying to say, madam? I think what Mr. Sato means is that no matter how badly I'd like to be recognized as a lawyer and stay in Great Britain, to risk another man's life by treating his one and only chance at a trial so trivially would be utterly unforgivable. And I feel exactly the same way. I'm sure the defendant won't see this trial as a test. A lawyer may fight for his clients in court day after day. But for each one of those clients, a particular day they stand in the dark may be the only chance they have to fight to prove their innocence. No, I was wrong. I'm not qualified to do that job yet. I'm sorry for wasting your precious time, Lord Chief Justice. Wait, Mr. Naruhodo. Oh, was there something else? It's approximately 20 minutes by carriage to the Old Bailey from here. If you leave immediately, you should still be there in time. But I just said... I was quite serious on what I told you. The defendant in this case has literally no one to advocate for him. What? At this point, he can't hope to find someone to represent him. The trial will begin without the defense, and if that happens, there's only one possible outcome. He will receive the most severe sentence the judge can pass now. But that's awful! But that is the truth. Why does that have to be like this? Please don't expect an answer to every question. The cold hard truth of the matter is that there is only one person now a chance to save this man. I'm gonna have to work on concrete voice films and not constantly changing. So, what do you say now, madam? Me? What do you mean, Lord Strongheart? You said it wasn't an easy decision to choose whether to defend a man in these circumstances. And I agree, but in my estimation, it is purely and simply a matter of resolve. Our time is up here. I have a meeting to attend. I must leave in 2 minutes and 16 seconds. So, venture into our great city and enjoy yourselves. It's gone. The Old Bailey. Going to do this, Mr. Manhattan. Must leave at once. Move. Oh, thank goodness, we're in time. There's still 15 minutes until the trial begins. I never knew a horse-drawn carriage could go so fast. I thought my teeth were gonna rattle loose. Did you hear what I said to the driver when we climbed the board? I am not sure why you're so pleased. I thought you were gonna die, and we had to pay gold for the privilege. Well, at least we arrived here before the trial started. Yes, I suppose there's that. Top of the morning to you, madam, sir. What are you doing following me here? Things are fair desperate, are they? Sorry? Why'd you look at those expressionless faces? From the east, are you? We're from Japan, yes. Ah, Japan, is it? Right, say no more. So, how much do you need? No, we're just here because... No need to explain, fella. I've been there myself, so I have. No place to go, nothing to eat, barely a penny to your name. I know. God, man. Fucking Irish is terrible. And all while in a strange, faraway land. Well, actually, we haven't found a place to stay yet, no. 'Tis grand, 'tis grand. Let me start by giving you 1,000 guineas. Say nothing now. 1,000 guineas. Please, Mr. Sato, you don't have to shout. Tis nothing to me at all. I like to ensure I have sufficient funds to weather a rainy day, you see. I have enough wealth to buy the city of London 2 or 3 times over. Not much rain even fall in one day. But even so, we couldn't possibly accept such a large sum of money. Nah, that hit me in the eye. Don't get me wrong, fella. I'm not giving it to you, no strings attached. I'll be wanting you to do something for me. Oh. To be honest, 'tis a little embarrassing. The trial is about to begin, you see, is for me good self here. I'll be in the docks. So now, what I want you to do is come along with me and stand there beside me. Officially, you'll be my lawyer, but that's just a little detail now. Oh, well, the thing is, don't worry about a thing. All you have to do is stand up there next to me, nothing more. Otherwise, you see, the trial is going to start without me having any kind of representation at all. So what's true? Lord Chief Justice wasn't just making no hope. I'm terribly sorry to have to ask, but does that mean you're a defendant? Bluffs and blazes, do you just not know who I am? Me, one of London's biggest names. No, sorry, we've only just arrived in the sea, you see. I see. Suppose ain't altogether impossible. Well, just next to Hyde Park, there in the centre of London, is another beautiful park. Sorry, park? What? It is called McGilded Park, full of blossoming flowers in the spring and singing birds and whatnot. I donated to the city, so I did. An entire park, essentially. Oh wait. A city of smiles, that's my vision for London. There's nothing Magnus McGilded wouldn't do for the city and its quiet people. And that's amazing. I mean, really extraordinary. But now they've got the gall to say I'm a good-for-nothing criminal. Me, Magnus McGilded. What is the matter with the London police, I ask you? Alright, don't pass out. Mr. Navajo, perhaps now would be a good time to introduce ourselves? Well, to catch... Yeah, good idea. Miss McGilded, the thing is, we're actually here in London to study British law. We're law students and a study tour from Japan, you see. So, if you don't have a lawyer for the trial yet, and you'd be happy to put yourself in our hands, we'll do our best. What was I have to say and you'd have to eat it? I've given you 1,000 guineas to stand up there next to me, Anna. Well, yes, but it wasn't really offering to just stand up there next to you. Oh, I think I see what's going on here. Sorry? I know what you're thinking. This Chancellor of Fair claims to have more money than the Queen. But if that's true, why the blazes can't he hire the finest lawyer in all of England? Because he did it. That's the only explanation. Well... well... No, oh no, it is a little strange to be honest. Well, you don't have a lawyer, I mean. That would be the fault of the Reaper. Sorry, did you just say Reaper? Aye, the Grim Reaper the Bailey. Lord Baroque von Zeeks. He's the prosecutor. The prosecutor is the Grim Reaper? Wim von Zeek stands for the prosecution. They call the accused the sacrificial lambs. And to this day, in every single trial in which he's been the prosecutor, the accused has been damned. What? So it's reached a desperate situation where there's no one willing to stand in defense against the fella at all. You could say he's the living legend of the Old Bailey. Goodness, Lord Baroque von Zeeks. He must be an exceptionally talented prosecutor. Talented isn't the word you're looking for, madam. It's cursed. Cursed? What on earth? The defendant is summoned and his counsel. Please make your way into the courtroom. The trial is about to begin. His counsel, that would be me. Miss Noel. The man has no one. He'll have to stand alone in that courtroom armed with nothing to defend himself. Yeah, something that Cosmo would never have allowed to happen. Counsel for the defense, what are you doing? If you're late for the start of the trial, you will lose your right to stand. I'll be right there. What's happening then? My first round in the British court. I hope you're watching over me, Cosmo. Because I have no idea how I'm going to manage this. So this is the highest court in Great Britain, the Old Bailey. Centuries of history in this place is palpable, isn't it? So different to the Supreme Court in Japan. It was both imposing and serene at the same time. The atmosphere almost makes... yeah. Guys, look, they just pop out your head. I know, but I just can't help it. In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session. We are here today to determine the guilt or innocence of Miss... God, I'm trying to make it sound like... We are here today to determine the guilt or innocence of Mr. Magnus McGilded. I now call upon the counsels for the prosecution and defense to declare their willingness to proceed. The prosecution is fully prepared. That must be the Reaper the Bailey. He really does look fully prepared to dispatch his next poor victim to the underworld. Counsel for the defense, you appear to be Easton. Do you speak English? Huh? Oh, yes, of course. Sorry. He asked if the defense was ready. I couldn't be further from ready if I tried. Those eyes please me, Nipponese. They run wild, clinging to some phantom notion of courage. The quintessential look of a sacrificial lamb. Ah! Cold shiver just ran down my spine all the way to the tips of my toes. Now, Mr. McGilded. Yes, my lord. You stand accused of murder, a capital offence. You could be sent to the gallows if found guilty. Are you quite sure you wish to entrust your defense to this foreigner? As I've already said, my lord, 'tis a grand thing to give opportunities to the young. Even if the fellow is a student from some little island off in the Far East, it's not the British way to ignore the dangers to yourself and give those less fortunate a fair chance. I'd like to think acts of chivalry did the great British Empire proud. Seems as though everyone in the public gallery is firmly behind Mr. McGilly. That's definitely welcome news, and he certainly has a way of words. Surprised I couldn't convince anyone to defend him. Eloquently put, Mr. McGilded, and most laudable sentiments. Well, I could... My voice has got innovation in it, so I could give it the same... Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I'm sure I need hardly remind you that you 6 members of the public have been selected for your impartiality. Are you ready to proceed? Yes, my lord. If the task is to send robbers to the gallows where they belong, I'm more than ready. After the manner his lordship always says we should dispose of rubbish promptly. Naturally, I agree. Any criminals here will soon be wishing they never set eyes on me. I feel a chill. Oh, don't mind me, my dear. I'll just be getting on with my knitting. Let's finish these mitts for my grandson. Miss Naruto, those people... The jury, yes. He will be written in the court's final verdict. Yeah. Thank fuck Mom, they just... This isn't like that. I'm sure I'm yeah. Prosecutor Van Zeeks, my lord. It's been a number of years since we've seen you here in this courtroom. I thought you'd renounced your fame. I'm known as Reap of the Bailey, my lord. Infamy rather than fame, I would say. But yes, 5 years have passed since I last spread my wings in this capacity. So what brings you back? Is there some change of circumstance of which the court should be aware? I leave that to your imagination, my lord. So Reaper has been out of action for 5 years. Why did he have to choose the day of all days to make her come back? Don't lose heart, Miss Naruto. As you wish, sir. The court nevertheless welcomes your return. Now then, opening statements, I think. A summary of the case, if you please. Certainly, my lord. As your lordship is aware, this is a case of overwhelming simplicity. You must be the only ones in here who aren't aware. The incident took place in late evening, 3 days past. The hour was some minutes after 10. The victim was a maker of building bricks known in the community as a price-fired mason. Price? He was a very accomplished craftsman. The bricks he fired were said to be almost indestructible. Yeah, I'm giving him that voice to save changing it. The victim's corpse was discovered in an omnibus in service in the streets of London at the time. A dagger that had been thrust into the victim's abdomen is believed to be the ultimate cause of death. Here is the autopsy report from the investigating medical officer at Scotland Yard. Thank you, counsel. I shall accept that in the photograph as evidence. The autopsy report has been entered into court. And one further item of evidence. The prosecution wishes to submit these as well. And these are... Good lord, is that blood, counsel? Yes, my lord. Seized by a policeman who arrived at the scene. These gore-soaked gloves were taken from the hands of the accused when he was arrested. What? Some guilty blood on them? Yes, I will accept these as evidence as well. How would I get into this? This is definitely blood, isn't it? Not the most pleasant sight to be confronted with on our first name Britain. Well, nothing will come of grumbling now. No, by the way, he's Mr. McGill right-handed. Yes, I believe so. He was telling you a coin in his right hand a little early. Ah, pity. If only he'd been left-handed. Oh yeah, I forgot. Now, gloves don't actually look like that. I thought those were scratches. Tears, rather. Backed into a corner before I even started. Continuing. According to the driver of the omnibus, there were only 2 passengers travelling inside the vehicle at the time. Only 2? Obviously, one of those passengers was the deceased brickmaker, Mr. Mason. The other was the accused, Magnus McGildy. Well, rather damning circumstances, to say the least. Defendant, what say you? Calm, slipping back in my American judge voice. Well, of course, I have no recollection of such a thing. Mr. McGill did. To be sure, I rode the omnibus that evening. Whenever I'm in a carriage, I'm taken with a fierce tiredness, and I always succumb to it. Are you claiming to have been asleep? 'Tis the motion of the carriage, my lord. Littleton, so it is. And when I opened my eyes again, 'twas a desperate sight before me. The body of a man I'd never laid eyes on before in me life. Now I ask you, what good-hearted soul wouldn't rush to help a fella bleeding from his stomach? I wasn't about to start worrying about me gloves now, was I? Reach out to give the man a hand. So the blood got into the gloves then, after the man had been killed. Unfortunately, that statement of the driver's is only the beginning. What? That's not all of it? There are multiple witnesses to the precise moment at which the brickmaker was fatally stabbed. Order! 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 When the killing took place, only the victim and the accused were inside the carriage, and there were witnesses to the crime. This is not just a case of compelling evidence. It's the nail in the coffin for the accused. Thank you, counsel. The circumstances of the crime have been made quite clear. I think we will hear testimony from these witnesses. First of all, your wish is my command. Bailiff, bring the witnesses in at once. Witnesses, your names and occupations. My name is, well, everyone calls me Beppo. I drive an omnibus in the East End. Bruce Fairplay. I'm a banker in the city. My name's First. Lady First. I make hats for gents. Let's begin by confirming the facts. 3 days ago, at a short time after 10 o'clock in the evening, all of you present in the stand were in an omnibus and witnessed the aforementioned incident. Is that correct? Yes, sir. Quite right. Yes, sir, that's right, sir. Very well, then. Let's proceed to your formal testimonies, please. Each of you will tell the court precisely what you saw. God, my WIP voice sounds like I'm giving fair play now. It was the last bus of the evening, so I had few customers. I remember it well. The victim and the man accused of killing him were sat next to each other inside the bus. Then, out of the blue, the accused just reached over and plunged a knife right into his guts. That's right, you stabbed him. I screamed. I did. I couldn't help it. As soon as I heard the scream, I stopped my bus, and then I saw it too. No. Unambiguous testimony, I must say. Exactly, my lord. These men witnessed the instant the omnibus with their own eyes. I'd like to ask a question, if I may. Yes, counsel? Well, this testimony makes absolutely no sense to me whatsoever. Why not? Well, the incident took place inside a moving carriage, didn't it? As has been clearly stated from the outside, yes. Well, in that case, how could those two witnesses possibly have seen what happened? There's no way they could have seen the inside of the moving carriage. Out of skylight? How quaint. I'd read that civilization in these nine nations was a good century behind ours. But you're here in London yourself. Are you really so ignorant about our omnibuses? Huh? Tell me, Winifred's friend, have you ever travelled? Have you even travelled in an omnibus? Well, no. We, only arrived in London this morning. No matter. I arranged for us all to see for ourselves. The actual scene of the crime, that is. What do you mean? Actual scene? How? A carriage is designed to be moved, that's all. Presumably you understand that much. Yes. The omnibus in which this bloody crime took place is here today, in this very building. Here? What? The entire carriage? Bailiff. Bring forth this chicken omnibus. So that's an omnibus. The omnibus. Can't believe they could bring something so enormous in here. Great Britain's courtrooms are amazing. As you can see, the omnibus is pulled by 2 horses, being carried with 8 passengers. 4 passengers seated inside the enclosed cabin, and another 4 on the rooftop deck above. Every Londoner knows entrance sights are to be had from the top of. Then there is a skylight in the roof, allowing a view of the interior and the seats above. Skylight. Oh! The penny drops at last, I see. These 2 gentlemen were occupying the rooftop seats in this omnibus. The murder took place. That is how they came to witness the commencement through the skylight. That makes perfect sense. Well, counsel, this is a first. In all my years behind the bench, I've never experienced the crime scene itself being brought into the courtroom. There are a number of important clues remaining inside the carriage, my lord. I would like to submit the omnibus itself as evidence. That is the prosecution's wish. Very well, I see no reason why not. This omnibus is hereby... I'm sticking with my voice for normal judge. This omnibus is hereby formally accepted as evidence. Because it had a tint of British to it anyway, thanks to my dialect. So this is the roof deck of the omnibus. You must have a wonderful view of London's streets from up here. So people sail their way up here on bitter winter nights with the cold air rushing past them? They have to pay money to do so? I can't imagine how cold it must feel. That just made me think of something horrible. Can you imagine being dragged around the city in the freezing cold as a punishment? Perhaps that is the real price you paid to stay. Mayhaps. That's blood that's soaked in the seat. The victims, obviously. Yes, that's even clearly visible to me. Would you really stab someone in full view of the other passengers like that, I wonder? Well, it was after dark, and there was a lamp on in the house, so perhaps the culprit couldn't see anything outside the skylight. Whichever way you look at it, it doesn't seem like it was a planned attack. You see how the hand is. Looks like all sorts of equipment that might be needed to keep the omnibus running. Feeding tubs, tools repairs, wheels, blankets, horse-shoe tools. There's a storage compartment for the coachman to keep. Yeah. I'm definitely gonna have to work on that voice. Wait, how long? 6 months. Wait, so you're telling me the events of both Great Ace Attorney and Great Ace Attorney 2 take place in the span of 6 months? Because the final chapter... So this is the roof deck of the omnibus. Oh, you must have... Oh wait. I already had this. I could help myself a lot by giving the omnibus a further examination, seeing as it's here.
Let us continue with proceedings then. Your cross-examination, counsel.
Pray, don't expect this nipply stray to understand the intricacies of a British court's cross-examination rights. Alright, my first cross-examination in a British court. Focus, Renosuke, focus.
It was the last bus of the evening, sir.
Hold it!
Yes, I think it was sometime after 10, wasn't it?
Oh, yes, sir. That's right, sir. Yes, ever so cold. It was freezing, in fact.
You had 4 passengers on board at the time, is that correct?
Yes, that's right, sir.
Did?
And there were no other passengers when the incident took place? No one alighted, for example? You're quite right with that, sir. No other passengers like that. No, none.
So nobody fled the scene of the crime then?
I have to say, that boss insists on it running, he does. Every evening. That last bus of the day.
The victim and the man accused of killing him were sat next to each other.
Hold it!
And you saw them through the skylight when you moved the carriage?
That's right.
When you sit up on the top deck, the window's right there at your feet. There was a lamp on inside, so I had a pretty good view. The two of them were wearing hats, and I couldn't exactly make out their faces. There was not a shred of doubt in my mind that it was Mr. McGilded. How can you be so sure? Well, how can I put it politely? McGilded is a gentleman of rather small stature. I couldn't have mistaken him for anyone else. Let's not forget that when the victim came to a halt, the only people inside the enclosed cabin were the deceased Mr. Mason and Mr. McGilded. There's no room for doubt here. I really wish there was. You actually saw the exact moment it happened. Didn't I testify to that? Well, I'm afraid Dinkum, hard-working city banker, is not considered trustworthy these days. Oh, no, I didn't mean that. This is no good. I've really got his back up. Perhaps you could just... My lord.
Joe number 3, what's the meaning of this?
My mind is made up, my lord. Completely and utterly made up. Made up about what? I don't like the stinking rich. Never have. They're always up to something or other that they shouldn't be. Every one of them. And that little leprechaun of a man is no exception. Well, you can't fool me. So you're just focusing off the basis of your prejudice against the rich. There's no point wasting time listening to any more of this. That's my opinion on that, anyway.
That is precisely what I was about to say. As the foreman of the jury, it is my duty to set a good example to my fellow jurors. What is happening here?
Let me see. Ah, yes, it seems that's how the members of the jury give their verdicts.
With fire?
God, I can just picture them on... Thank fuck they staged that, man. Apparently, yes, wife innocent and black are guilty. But the 6 members of the jury make up their minds about the case. One by one, they each cast a ball of fire into the great scale of justice, as we saw a moment ago.
So if there's no more scales for completely the black side, does that mean... Counsel for the defense, please continue with your cross-examination. This is a nightmare. That's right.
Hold it!
You stabbed him, you say? And you were saying man with technique? Yes, that's right, sir. I was up on the roof seats. I remember seeing the young gent sitting next to the fellow that was stabbed. I'd been thinking about a new hat design, you see, so I was just gazing absent-mindedly around. But then I happened to look down for the skylight. It was sticking right out from his belly, that huge, great knife.
A grim sight indeed.
That didn't help me at all. The jury looked like they were more convinced my client did than they were before. It appears to me that everyone even more dubious that Mr. McGill didn't tell the truth. If only we had some evidence to counter this. Mr. First. Oh, yes, sir? Is this the knife you saw? Oh! Good grief! Yes, that's it, the very one, sir. Is that... Yes, Counselor. This is the blade that was driven into the victim's belly like a stake through her heart.
That is a blade of considerable size, Counsel.
It is. And furthermore, the scabbard is emblazoned prominently with a certain initial. The letter M, which seems oddly familiar.
Please no.
M for Magnus, perhaps, or Matilda, perhaps. Take your pick. It seems this particular big name made a magnificent mistake.
Objection!
But there are M's everywhere. Like in Mason. This blade is far too extravagant for a poor brickmaker to have owned. No, this weapon of murder almost certainly belonged to the accused.
Not conclusive, but certainly compelling, Counsel.
Oh, fuck. It looks a lot like blood. It sure is blood. The victims.
An Englishman's blood looks a lot like a Japanese man's blood. Hey, what are you implying?
You think it wouldn't?
Sorry, it's just that we've only just arrived in Great Britain.
Finding it a little hard to adjust. Yes, I do understand.
Juror number 2, go on.
Mr. McGill, this is a pillar of society and a gentleman's word should be sacrosanct. However, those of us in the service know we must accept our truths. Wait, what are you about to do? Dispose of the rubbish. No! I don't wish to cause offence, but I do like to eradicate all traces of filthy ground. I have painstakingly typed every word uttered here today and cross-referenced all facts. As such, I am now in a position to draw the only logical conclusion. Not again. That's 4 or 6 jury members who proposed to kill verdict. Only 2 left. We've had it. Every time I press witness for information, it's made the situation worse. What exactly did you see? Oh, well, sir, that would be the passenger, sir. Yes, collapsed on the floor he was. And by the passenger, obviously you're referring to the victim, Mr. Mason, the victim. And the other passenger had that knife in his hand, like this. By the other passenger, obviously you're referring to the accused, Mr. Magnus McGilded. And then he plunged down like this, stabbing the other passenger in the belly. What?
My lord, I wish to speak. Yes, Joe number 5, do I take it that you too? As the master of the London Guild of Coachmen, the idea of a murder being committed in one of the city's carriages is utterly abhorrent to me. It wouldn't be right to make a decision before hearing all the facts, so I said to myself. But I've heard enough now. The horse has bolted, as they say.
No, please, just keep it. This is too unkind, sir. Which now means that 5 jurors agreed to condemn this man. Madam Juror number 6. Yes, dear, what can I do for you? You have heard the testimonies of the witness in the stand? Oh, yes, I certainly have. Still got my hearing, you know. Then, pray tell, why are you yet to pronounce your meaning? Well, dear, the thing is, I'm a creature of habit, me. I always go to the park at around this time of day and get on my knitting. There's a lovely little park just near where I live. McGilded Park it's called. The gentleman donated it to the city, you know, to put a smile on Londoners' faces, he said. I can't imagine such a fine young gentleman would have everything him taken on man's life. How many Londoners live with their heads in the clouds?
Do you people not know what kind of a man Magnus McGilded really is? What kind of a man is he? The philanthropist, Magnus McGilded, has enough wealth to purchase the entire city he claims to value so highly. Where did all that wealth come from? Shut on the crows! McGilded lends money at extortionate rates of interest, so his victims have no hope of repaying him. When they default, he takes possession of everything they own. He's a vulture that preys on the weak. I've never heard any mention of that before. Your faculties haven't deserted you, I'm sure, madam. So has this thought not crossed your mind? Would a man wealthy enough to buy London in its entirety not have a carriage of his own? What possible reason could this man have had to make use of public omnibus service? You're not saying that the victim, poor Vic Mr. Mason, was killed, was a final repayment date for his debts? Good gracious! The Vic Maker was destitute. He had lost his house. He had not a shilling with which to repay his debts. In the end, this pitiful soul had the very last thing he had taken away from him. His life. By the merciless philanthropist pretender, Magnus McGilded. I don't believe it. If I might add something briefly, Mr. Sato, you claim that the victim had been lent money by Mr. McGilded, but where is the evidence to support your claim?
Pray forgive the discourtesy of filling my hallowed chalice in the court of law.
Aha! There it is! Lord Van Zieks' hallowed chalice.
How can this be considered acceptable? But I find myself in unexpectedly good humour. I had heard ladies from the Far East could show great courage, but I didn't expect to experience it myself. As judicial assistant to the defense, I'm simply doing my job. What a pity that your display of courage is in vain. This is the debtor's ledger, which details all monies owed by the accused. You'll find the victim's name clearly recorded inside. Allow me to present this ledger as evidence. And pray forgive the discourtesy of raising a chalice and a toast to the enigmatic East at the same time.
A marvellous toast, Counsel. I will gladly accept this new evidence.
The debtor's ledger has been entered into the court record.
Ah, yes, 20 guineas. The victim owed a considerable sum.
And the accused made quite certain he had ample recompense.
Well, it would seem I've had the wool pulled over my eyes.
Regrettably, madam, that is the modus operandi of the accused. And it's such a pretty little park, too. What a scoundrel. Still, maybe it's all for the best. Ah, wait a minute! I don't stand for nonsense. Ah, goodness. What is it? Look at this. Do you see the name here? Bruce Fairplay. Shouldn't that mean something to me? It does sound...
Bingo!
Ah, he borrowed 20 guineas, see? And look, due payment day is fast approaching. That was it. Last year's decision. Ah, according to this encyclopedia of British law, for all members, yeah. Ah, the final verdict is over then. Oh. There's a footnote now. A footnote? However, the defense...
All 6 members of the jury are now in agreement in this case.
Allow me to convey my respect for your swift and righteous decision.
According to the laws of this country, I will now conclude the trial by delivering my final verdict. I trust there are no objections.
Mr. Sato, just tell me one thing. Oh, yeah. You were in the middle of saying something before. The footnote in your encyclopedia of British law, however, the defense. What did it say next? When all members of the when all members of the jury... Actually, I'm going to read that normal because it's from the book. When all members of the jury have concluded that the defendant is guilty, court proceedings are suspended, and the presiding judge will deliver the final verdict and sentence. And the footnote says, however, the defense has right to demand a summation examination of this judge. Yeah. Summation examination?
Objection.
A summation examination? From which century has that term you have now been resurrected? Judging from the binding, I would say that book is at least 50 years old. Any modern text on British law wouldn't even give such an antiquated procedure mention. It's a relic, long forgotten, and certainly no longer practiced. So you're out of luck. What even is it, Mr. Sato? This so-called summation examination. Oh, hold on, and I'll read about it. You would demand the right to a procedure before you even understand what it entails. Typical Nipponese. I miss now, I think I understand. Following this procedure, we'll be able to appeal. Yeah. Make them reverse their decisions. Yes, in times gone by, barristers would use a summation examination to attempt to influence the jury's decision, but that procedure became something of a formality with no practical benefit, really, so it rather fell out of use. I wonder why. Because it was... because it was devoid of purpose. Changing just one member of the jury's mind would be hard enough, let alone several. No self-respecting defense barrister would even assert his right to try in this day and age. Still, I don't see any mention of the procedure actually being formally revoked. What are you suggesting? I'm suggesting that although it may be antiquated and largely forgotten, it isn't yet What do you think, Mr. Antonio? A summation examination. Last possible option. Do we assert our right to carry it out or admit defeat? Assert our right. Defense wishes to assert its right to a summation examination, my lord. London is the capital city of the most powerful nation on earth. We have a duty to the world to exemplify the very highest standards of judicial procedure. Summation examinations are an embarrassment that should remain buried.
Objection!
But if it's alright, it's alright. I believe it could prove vital in this trial.
The defense's petition is perfectly valid. The court will proceed with the summation examination.
This is madness.
Foreman, are you and the remainder of the jury ready? Eh? Well, I'm not, there was no mention of this in the letter I received, you see, so... All members of the jury will be asked to explain on what grounds they have reached their decision.
That seems to have run the jurors off. It seems none of them have experienced this before. Well, they are all working off their personal vendettas instead of actual evidence. A defense procedure no practicing lawyer has attempted for years, is it? Well, just maybe the opportunity you've been looking for to turn this trial around.
So be it then, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, the court hereby calls upon you to state the grounds on which you find the defendant, Magnus McGilded, guilty of this most serious crime.
There was no one else inside the carriage at the time, so it has to have been him. I trust the driver. He has an excellent memory, it seems. 4 passengers with fares totaling 20 pence. He stuck the chap next to him just like this. Brazen, I must say. Absolutely brazen. I have simply typed and collated all the statements made thus far and drawn the logical conclusion.
You can trust the guild. Fair fares is our motto. We haven't raised prices above 4 pence for years.
This scoundrel stabbing that poor man on the floor. Beggars belief. I am starting to wish I hadn't pushed for this now. Find contradictions in their statement and pit the jurors against one another to break them down. I might be able to pull this off. No, that's not right. I have to pull this off.
Can we start proceedings, Counsel? I would ask you to take the stand for this. I'm expecting a clear and concise rebuttal.
Yes, my lord.
Objection!
According to the group testimony we've heard so far, there were 4 passengers on the omnibus on the night in question. And according to the coachman, Mr. Beppo, he took 20 pence in fares. Quite right, I have those precise details typed neatly here in front of me. And juror number 5 also told us the following. Fare for the omnibus is always 4 pence.
That it is, a fair and convenient single price.
But that doesn't add up at all. In fact, it leaves a glaring discrepancy in the facts.
Why, man, why?
4 passengers paying 4 pence each, if you do the multiplication. Exactly, as I said, it doesn't add up. The figures are different. By 4 pence, in fact. Oh, precisely 1 person's fare.
1 person's fare?
Yes, in other words, on the omnibus that night, it's distinctly possible there was another passenger who heard nothing about.
Good gracious!
Mr. Guildmaster, I think you ought to consider that if this trial were to end now, news will surely spread all over London. The news that one of your coachmen tried to hide the fact that he lets nefarious characters ride his omnibus.
Now hold your horses there, coachman. We're all in agreement. Why do you have to go and... Wait till I get my hands on you, Beppo.
This is all very irritating. Begging your pardon, sir, I'm going to do the same. Feels good actually being able to do this myself now, instead of having the gameplay itself.
For the love of Mike, not you as well.
A penny can be the difference between a smile and a tear, at all. It's only come from my trust in someone who doesn't follow my exacting standards in financial matters. There is something else that's bothering me about picking their assertions. Certainly, the testimonies we've heard suggest the victim and Mr. McGilded were alone inside the carriage.
Precisely my point.
But Could there be some other explanation? Something we haven't considered yet? Such as? Well, perhaps that's something we could all work out together. Ah. I really think you should stop waving that needle around. So we just need to find the two jurors with contradictory statements. Yeah. How did you know? So it seems that Nick's assistant was a spirit medium, whereas Susato was a psychic. Not right now. I have to rely on advice right from the start. Oh, I can't know. No, I need to. Is that perhaps what you think? How did you know? Well, you can't spell a well, you can't make an assertion without being asked. Brunch.
Objection!
We've heard from more than one witness that they allegedly saw the actual moment when the defendant stabbed the victim. Now, out of curiosity, juror number 3? What? Can you see that I'm busy here? How would you say the defendant stabbed the victim? What sort of motion was it? Wanna test me, do ya? It was like this. Stuck the fella next to him without even getting up. Just like the pin banker said.
Yes, that was Mr. Fairplay's testimony, quite true.
Now then, juror number 6.
Oh, is that me, is it? What can I do for you for, young man?
How would you say the defendant stabbed the victim, madam?
Oh, well, dear, as far as I understand it, it was like this.
Now don't move. Take a look at these two jurors. He stuck the fella next to him without even getting up. And he stabbed the poor man after he'd collapsed on the floor.
Well, I never. They're stabbing in totally different directions.
What?
Bless my stitches. Oh, what a muddle.
What this tells us is that there's a strong possibility one of the witnesses isn't telling the truth. But why? Why the dickens would they lie? I don't know that yet, but what I do know is that if the trial ends at this point, we may never find out. We may never know the real truth. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, can you really let that happen in all good conscience?
Lies, you say? Oh, dearie me.
The scales. I don't believe it. God, I just gave him the thing. This is why until now I've not given any characters any voices. Wait!
Now hear this, my fellow jurors. I warn you, you cannot listen to this man.
Look at him in his black suit. He's clearly some devious... He's a sorcerer. He's a magic connoisseur. I could use magic. Do you really think I'd be putting myself through all this? Answer me this, Dark Jinx. What exactly is the problem? What of it if two witnesses have slightly different recollections of events? What of it? Let's say the Shylock did stab the victim as he was sat next to him on the omnibus, and this young dandy son do it. And now let's say the victim collapsed on the floor, and then the Shylock stabbed him again, and this old lady's son do it. Single stab wound. Well, what's to say it didn't happen like that, Who are you calling a dandy, sir? Why, I should take this knife to you. Who are you calling old? Why, I should take this needle to you. I don't need to kill each other now. But couldn't the foreman of the jury be right? Did the two witnesses see different... Solid question. Unfortunately, Mr. Foreman.
What is it, you dog jinx?
Come on, out with it. What you're suggesting is impossible. It's out of the question.
What are you talking about, man? How can you possibly say that? You do realize that I'm only doing my job. As foreman of the jury, I have a response. So where's your evidence, man? That's what we need to see.
Like I said, autopsy report. It says single stab wound. As you wish. I'll give you the proof.
Take that!
This is the victim's autopsy report. According to what's written here, Mr. Mason was stabbed in the abdomen. Only once. Only once? It's quite simple. The victim was stabbed precisely one time. Which means these witnesses can't possibly have seen it happen 2 different times. Alright, I concede defeat. Wait. What are you playing at, you damn fool? Shut your trap, sir. No one deceives me.
But we had a consensus.
I said shut your trap. I don't lie when I see one. And if the chap ever dares to cross the threshold of my shop, I'll take this razor-sharp blade and shave every last hair off his head. Please tell me he's a barber. And farewell.